relationship between Khums and Hajj. Many people are under the impression that in order for you to go to Hajj and the Hajj to be valid, you have to pay all of your Khums and then go. What's the relationship between Khums and Hajj? There are a few discussions here. One is about Qabool, whether Allah accepts our deeds. One is about Sahha, something being valid. There's a difference between the two. I can get up right now and pray a perfect salah. I have the wudu, I observe the conditions, I pray towards Qibla, I don't make any mistakes. But let's say my intention, my mind is somewhere else. I'm thinking of this dunya in my salah. My prayer is valid. Allah will not punish me for not praying because I technically prayed. But will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala necessarily accept my salah? No. If I'm not focused in my salah, Allah may accept 1/10 of it, 1/5 of it, half of it. Or haven't you heard these hadiths that say if you backbite, for instance, for 40 days your salah won't be accepted. If you eat haram food for 40 days your salah will not be accepted. Well, what do these hadiths mean? They don't mean that your salah is invalid and you have to do qadha. No. Obviously you fulfill that requirement. On the day of judgment, Allah will not tell you, why didn't you pray? You prayed. But will you get the reward of that prayer? Probably not. Meaning you don't deserve the reward. Allah can still give it to you out of His generosity, but you don't deserve any reward. For 40 days, Allah doesn't have to accept your salah. And remember, the hadith says, if Allah accepts one salah in your life, you deserve Jannah and paradise. One salah. Look at the generosity of Allah. But we've got things blocking this acceptance. Rak'atayn, exactly. Just 2 rak'ahs. If Allah accepts 100%, khalas, you're good to go. So we have the idea of your deeds being accepted. Now, Allah accepts from who? إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah accepts from the pious. Those who are really pious, they're mindful of Allah, Allah accepts from them. Now the one who does not give the khums, knowing that it is wajib, but they're either negligent with it, they're sinful about it, and they go to Hajj. Their Hajj is valid if they do the Hajj correctly. But remember that these acts of worship are interrelated in the eyes of God. If I fast but I don't pray, Allah may not accept the reward of my fasting. Allah may not accept it. Because Allah will tell me, okay, you fasted, that's good, but you're making another violation. If you really want me to accept your deeds, show respect to all of my laws, not some of them. For you to be a good citizen, for you to be a good citizen in society, shouldn't you observe and respect all laws in society? What if a person says, look, I respect half of the laws, but I make these violations elsewhere. They tell this person, look, for you to be a good citizen and for society to respect you, you ought to respect all laws. A person says, every day I'm going to pass the red light, but I'm still a good citizen because I observe 99% of the laws. I just break these laws. Doesn't fly. For you to really be a good citizen, you ought to respect all laws. Same idea in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. Allah accepts from you if you're pious. Well, if you're deliberately making these violations, how can you really be pious? So you may go to the Hajj, you fulfill the requirement. On the day of judgment, Allah will not tell you, why didn't you go to Hajj? You did. But will Allah accept it? It depends. So khums can have an impact on Hajj in this way, on the qabool, the acceptability of the Hajj in the eyes of Allah. That's the first point. And this is not limited to khums. Every other obligation. The second point, what about the validity of the Hajj? Is the Hajj valid or no? Scholars have mentioned that in this scenario the Hajj will be invalid for the one who doesn't pay khums. If the ihram, the 2 pieces of cloth for the man, or the ihram for the woman, the garment that they wear at Hajj, if khums directly applied to this piece of cloth, and you did not pay the khums of it, then when you did the tawaf and the salah of the tawaf, one of the requirements of a valid tawaf and the salah is for you to wear clothes that are lawful for you. The one who did not pay the khums, 20% of this ihram did not belong to them, so they did tawaf in usurped clothes. That invalidates the tawaf and the salah, and that invalidates the hajj. From this aspect, the hajj could be invalid. So as long as you pay the khums of just the ihram, technically the hajj is valid.